everyone, welcome to the PhD Scholar series of the Humans in Education. In this series, we are talking with PhD fellows from prestigious institutes worldwide. Today, I am here with the third episode, and our guest for today is Saswato Sen from India. He is doing his PhD at Okinawa Institute of Science and Technology, Japan. He did his master's from University of Heidelberg, Germany. In this conversation, Saswato talked about his research area, then his research group in Japan, other research groups working in the similar area. Apart of this, he also discussed about the structure of Japanese PhD, then how it is different from European PhD, and what are the benefits to do PhD from Japan. He also talked about his experience living in Japan, then Japanese culture, and many interesting things. We all know that aside from the high quality Japanese education system, the best thing is to live in Japan. And those are the Japanese people who make living in Japan truly great. Super respectful, very hospitable, welcoming, and polite. I heard all of this from my friends who are living in Japan, and I'm pretty sure that the students absorb a lot of virtues while studying in this land of the rising sun. Okay, now let's listen to Saswato. So, hi Saswato, welcome to this session, and thank you very much for accepting my invitation and for your valuable time. So,
It's been a pleasure.
I'm excited to know more about you and to share your journey. So, first, can you please tell me a bit more about you?
So I'm a PhD student in Okinawa Institute of Science and Technology in Japan, and my major area of research is theoretical and mathematical physics, and I usually work somewhere in between probability theory and its maybe application to gravity systems, like quantum gravity, from first principles. And in general, in addition to that, understanding more mathematical aspects of quantum mechanics, especially relativistic quantum mechanics. Bachelor's I did it in India from BHU, and after BHU I moved to Heidelberg University, and I studied there for from 28 for bachelor's was from 2015 to 2018, and from 2018 to 2020 I was a master student in Heidelberg, and that was when the pandemic was in full force. I got my position in the end of 2021, early that I knew at the early 2021 that I'm going to join Japan for PhD, but I had to do an internship in the same group where I'm joining PhD and do it remotely from Germany. So that's the next year. That's one more year I stayed in Germany. So, and apart from that, I am apart from academics, I have a lot of interests. Especially, I'm a very sporty person. I can't play anything for shit, but I am very good. I like to watch them. So I'm interested in cricket, football, and some martial arts sports like boxing, some and UFC, mixed martial arts, and sometimes tennis as well, especially the Grand Slam
Okay.
competition sometimes. Yeah.
Okay, that's quite interesting. No, now can you please tell a bit more about your research area and research field?
So as I mentioned earlier, I mostly work in mathematical physics and mathematical and theoretical physics. So initially, my major aim was to understand quantum gravity, and I started my research career started in my master's in Germany, and I worked on something like something which is called as asymptotic safety in gravity.
Okay.
Which is for a layman it's very difficult to explain because the topic is defined in a very technical manner, but uh, what I can say is that quantum mechanics, so two fundamental pillars of physics is quantum mechanics, where how objects like small objects at small scale behave. And another fundamental pillar at large scales is general relativity. So which talks about gravity, how like galaxies are formed. And it turns out that these two theories are incompatible. And so quantum mechanics, when we do it in relativistic limit, what we call when we introduce ideas of relativity, it's also called as quantum field theory. That's the extension of quantum mechanics. And so what I worked in Germany and in my master's was trying to include gravity in quantum field theory itself. And now I'm working on something which is called as random geometry. So, uh, going back to general relativity, what Albert Einstein told us that gravity and geometry, our space-time is one and the same thing. So some people believe that we could have, like we have our chemicals are made of atoms, and atoms itself are made of electrons and protons, and these are discrete particles. Maybe we might have atoms of space-times as well. And these could be little blocks of shapes. And so random geometry it's a purely mathematical subject, but where we study that if we glue a lot of shapes together, so what are its properties at large scales, like when we glue a lot of shapes, or when we glue some shapes and look it from very far away. So the point is that as I said, like we can have atoms of space time, and it's if this theory is correct, how will what in what way we can glue these shapes so that we can get a universe which looks like ours. So this is what I'm working on, and one way to do it is called are called as tensor models and matrix models, and these are some statistical integrals, very technically speaking, statistical integrals, which are a mathematical way to generate these steps. I don't want to go into too much technical details, but yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's,
hope
I
it's clear
think
enough. Yeah.
it's quite new field for me, so it takes time to for me to understand, but it's quite interesting. Can you please tell a bit more about your current research group and the another research groups in the world which are working in the same area?
So my current research group is based in my university, and it's a fairly new research group. I, if I'm not wrong, our faculty, like the principal investigator, just a unit professor, she joined not too long ago in 2018 or 2017,
Okay.
and I would be her first PhD student. And we have two or three postdoctoral candidates who are working in similar field, and we also have one mathematician in our group who works on pure mathematics of this random geometry. Also, like one thing which could be more relatable is that they work on graph theory. So one way to describe these random shapes is in terms of graphs. So there are some people who are working on purely mathematical aspects of graphs, and there are some people like me when we are mixing graphs and physics, these pure mathematical topics. And mostly this research is done in France,
Okay.
and Paris is the epicenter of this, and there are groups in Lyon and Marseille or Marseille. How do you say it? Marseille or Marseille?
Marcel.
Marseille. Yeah, yeah,
French,
there.
in French they speak like Marseille, or in English we speak like Marcel.
Yeah. So like I would go the French ones of Marseille. So in
Marseille, yes.
Marseille as a so one person who is very famous for this is guy who really started this field is Vincent Rivasson,
Okay.
and his PhD student Razvan Gurau, who now is a professor in Heidelberg,
Okay.
where I did my master's. So yeah, another place where this research is done is Heidelberg, but that started in 2020. So Heidelberg is the latest addition to the family.
Okay.
And there is one group in Princeton by a very famous guy known as Igor Klebanov, but I don't know if there is any other group in United States who work specifically on this topic with this much rigor.
Okay.
And yeah, but it's mostly France.
Okay.
One offshoot in Okinawa, one in Heidelberg, and one in Princeton. But Princeton is, I think, the original one actually.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, that's good. So, why did you choose Japan for your PhD?
I did not choose Japan. I chose the group.
Okay.
So I was interested in the present research I'm doing. So I was interested in working with a particular person who is a postdoc in our group. And he and a friend of mine from Heidelberg who was in Paris for an exchange for a semester were office mates. And so he gave me, and I was interested in the research topic, and he gave me his contact, and that's how we ended up talking. I ended up applying for internships and PhDs and came here.
Okay.
So yeah, for me, Japan was not really the choice, but
Okay.
there was added benefits to this university. So we were So there are a lot of benefits in this institute in the sense that the pay is good. You have subsidized housing in campus,
Wow.
and compared to rest of like I'm not in mainland Japan. I'm in a tiny island which is quite south of Japan, so it's not well connected to mainland either, and very different culture. But
Okay.
there's a very strong support system, like from the university,
Okay.
professional support system. So, and you have like a lot of paid conference travels. So because of the benefits, and also I get 5 years of guaranteed funding, which was
Wow.
very unique, which is not common in Europe or in United States. So that it gave me stability. It was an additional, you can say, catalyst to help me like make me join here.
Yes. How the structure of the Japanese PhD is different from European or USA based PhD?
So this institute is very different from any other Japanese university. I can't talk about Japanese university. I can only talk about OIST.
Okay.
So it's uh, it's borrowed from the American system. It's much closer to the American system than the European system, in the sense that these people also recruit people with 4 years of bachelor's.
Okay.
So you have a proper graduate school,
Yeah.
and you have compulsory courses, which is not there in Europe as far as I know. Like we
Yeah.
have examinations and
Okay.
evaluations
Yes.
and grades as everything. So it does matter. And then for the first year, there is this rotation system. So you have 3 terms in a year. And for the first year, you have to join 3 labs, 2 in field. So 2 research groups which you are interested in, and one which is not exactly related to your field. And I will give more details about this part later. And then you have 1 year where you have to prepare a 70-page report, 50 to 70-page report, and that is really your thesis proposal. And you have to defend that proposal in a really intense 2 to 3 hour examination, and then your real PhD starts for the next 3 years.
Okay. Yes, I got.
Yeah.
Okay. And your PhD is funded or you are awarded with some specific scholarship?
No, I don't have any specific scholarship. I have the funding of the institute.
So, do you know about any scholarships to apply for the PhD in Japan?
So I don't know specifically of anything which happens in first year apart from MEXT scholarship, which a
Next.
lot of people do, MEXT scholarship. But a lot of people here, because they have guaranteed funding, they don't really bother in the first few years. And there is one JSPS fellowship for third year students. That's for a year, and that's what people try. So there are a lot of specific year-wise funding project-wise funding, etc., etc. And there are so some of them are not even scholarships. Some of them are maybe you write a project proposal or stuff like that, and there are way too many options. It's only thing I'm unfortunately I'm this is my 6th month of my PhD.
Okay.
No, not 6 month. 9th month of my PhD. Sorry, it's September, right? Yeah. So 9th month of my PhD. I am not sure what will happen in the third year.
Okay. And what is your future career goal after PhD?
So I want to stay in academia and continue with this, and I'm looking for, like, I think from third year onwards, I would really start looking for external collaborations. So for postdoc positions, and as I said, I would love to go to a different institute from or to a different country, apart from Germany and Japan, just because I like to travel a bit. Like, yeah.
Okay. So, how is your experience as an international student in Japan?
So again, OIST is very, very different. It's in other universities, it's not even comparable, because in other universities, mostly you are going to be one of the few of the international students.
Okay.
Here, Japanese are in a minority.
Okay.
So here the experience is very different. Uh, in-campus experience is very different. Out of campus, language barrier is a huge problem.
Okay.
So learning Japanese is a skill, is a must, at least to ask for basic directions. And one thing that has been a bit disappointing in Okinawa is lack of public transport. So
Okay.
I have to spend some money to get a driving license and get a car. But the good thing is that I would learn how to drive anyways. So that's a good skill to have. And yeah, so in campus experience, this is very Europeanized. But again, we are very small number of people. We are less than 1,000 in the entire campus, and almost everyone knows each other. So
Okay.
that comes with its plus and negatives, that it's very difficult to go outside campus and socialize, and but it's also very easy in campus. So
Okay.
it's
So,
been a 90, I would say, quite good in the end.
okay. And what was your first cultural shock when you went to Japan for first time?
So I'm not a person who is that prone to cultural shocks, because like I do read a bit before going anywhere, so I know what to get. But two things which shocked me a bit was, the smaller shock was that Japanese don't say no in
Okay.
general. So say they say a little at a particular tone, so that which means no. So
Okay.
it's too polite for the. I mean, I grew up in North India and then went to Germany. So these two places are not known for their politeness.
Yes.
So that was a bit of a cultural shock, I would say. But the biggest cultural shock was, there is no signature in Japan. They
Oh,
have stamps.
okay.
So you have to. It's a 500-year-old rule. You have to get a rubber stamp for most of your official purposes, and it's getting slowly phased away. But you have to register that, and you have to attach a copy of the registration when you stamp, if you want to buy a car or something. But instead of signature, you have to write your full name.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the reason is because of the script. So, so Japanese script is very pictorial. They have 3,000 or 4,000
Yes.
symbols, and that has every symbol has a meaning. It's not phonetic like our languages. So, and the way you write it, the symbols, they have specific brush strokes. So that means that most of the handwriting is also quite standardized for people. I think that makes this so for them having a signature may not be the most useful thing. Also, it's a very high trust society. People don't expect fraud. So yeah.
Okay. And what are the factors that the student who want to pursue international PhD they should consider?
So uh international, so one thing one should consider is that there is going to be change.
Yes.
And it may be, it for some people, I know it's for the better. For some people, they might miss some aspects. So, and it's okay to feel both ways. But I think one should expect that there would be some things one might adjust a little bit, and also to keep an open mind and mix with people of different cultures, and make a lot of friends and all these things. Be a bit open minded, and you might miss some aspects of, if you're an Indian, you might miss some aspects of India, and it's okay to miss some aspects. Just what I'm saying, like it's okay. You have to figure out what's important for you, whether it's social life, proximity to parents, or maybe a difficult situation. And both of the choice, I would rather say that both of the choices are extremely valid.
Yeah.
It's
So
just what
yeah,
you prioritize.
I agree with this. I think it's always good to be a Roman in Rome, right? Wherever
Yeah.
you go, you should adjust, and your life will be more. Your life will be better. It's always good.
Well, I would rather say the word integrate than adjust.
Yes.
Is that keep yourselves, like keep some part of your culture, because I mean, again, if you're from India, you will be surrounded by Indians. So you would have that sort of, if you like that sort of thing, so you would have that familiarity with you. But then also it's better to learn from them, their other cultures, understand the other cultures, and yeah, be integrate, and don't forget yourself, both of them.
That's Yes. good advice. So thank you so much, Saswato. Thank you so much for this insightful discussion and again for your valuable time. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Yeah. By the way, like if you don't, I talked about this rotation system because I would like to advertise that system to people who might want to join, because this is something which I feel not everyone is decided on what topic they want to do.
Okay.
So here you have, as you join at least two different labs where you want to do your research, you have 1 year to figure out what you like, and it also gives you some like some cushion to understand the dynamics of the group, whether sometimes you might like the research topic, you might like, but the research dynamics is so bad or so
Yes.
incompatible with you that you might have to join something else. So this gives you that option.
Yes.
And
The time to choose
yeah,
something, right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And also, if you are decided, it gives you a bit of time where you can have fun. So you can have some fun with different research topics, or might take that time to learn a few skills, or get
Yeah.
a bit of headway into the PhD. I would not say an unfair advantage, but get some advantage when
Yeah.
it gives you a bit of caution. So
Yes.
if you are trying to apply for PhD in Japan, I would definitely recommend OIST, because uh, it's not very difficult to get in. There is quite funding opportunities, and it gives you quite a lot of cushion.
Okay. Yeah.